Hey everyone, welcome back for another episode from On Down the Road Productions. And this episode we're going to talk about our wish list for the 2022 Rocket R, Rocket 3 GT and beyond. So let's get into this. Okay, we're going to talk the key fob, right? So it is kind of large, and there are advances in electronics, so maybe in the future it could be made a little bit smaller and thinner. It is kind of bulky, like an old 80s or early 90s type of remote control or fob. So maybe if they can change that right down the road. We're not going to knock the fob for going through batteries. Our Honda fob requires batteries too often, so I think really the tip is to carry an extra battery with you when you tour and travel, and try to keep a new one in. Maybe swap out at least once every 6 to 8 weeks, especially if you're like us and sometimes you forget to turn these things off. It'll just take down your battery life. But initially when the 2018 Goldwing came out, they only offered one fob with the bike. Triumph has been doing the same thing. My understanding is they make less than 2,000 rockets a year globally, and it's an exclusive bike from my understanding, but it should come with two fobs, right? And these cannot be that expensive to produce. I think you're really giving it to people who ponied up for the Rocket and are loyal to the Triumph brand and ride Rockets to, you know, we're human. Someone misplaces one of these, they got to go in and spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars at the Triumph dealer and wait to get their new fob in. It should come with two, and I tried to do some research on where this is built at. If this is like built in China or someplace like that in a third world country, why are you charging so much for them, right? And you know, and on that point too, you can update the circuit board here to improve its performance. When this has issues with performance constantly, those yellow warning lights come on the TFT. Even now with my sensors being cleaned at the dealer, a new battery, it doesn't take much for those yellow key warning lights to come on the TFT. I hate riding like that, right? And you can't disable the key out of range stuff that goes on. Our recommendation is to offer two key fobs and find a way to lower the price initially of these fobs if people need them replaced. All right, our next recommendation for 2022 and beyond is the TFT, right? So it's got a lot of nice features, and a lot of it is very nice, but it still needs work, right? And I don't want Triumph or anyone else to think I'm like nitpicking or complaining. This is a great bike, okay? It's nice, but I'm still not using my GoPros via my TFT, which was as promised functionality. I'm very disappointed with the Triumph app in the navigation for this bike. I actually stopped using it. What happens is, if everything is connected properly and you put in a destination on a long trip, you just go for long periods of time where you get no instructions from the TFT on your navigation route, and it causes you to pull over and make sure it's still connected. What? I do that before it gets dark, right? I don't want to have issues traveling, so you know, that's just a good example for me on what could be made better. The other thing is that even if you have your My Triumph app connected and your TFT's up and your navigation's working, you stop for gas and shut the bike off, it just disconnects the app constantly. And if you don't catch it, you'll go 10-20 miles up the road and your travel directions will get messed up. A recommendation we would like to make is an improved TFT performance for navigation specifically. And you know, I just really was into the Rocket when we bought it for the peace of mind of having turn by turn on the TFT, but it's not performing as expected. And we're going moto camping again soon, cutting some more videos in that area. The weather's cooling off here in Michigan. We're rolling into September, and I'm not going to use the TFT for directions on these trips. I've had too many bad things happen using the TFT, whether it disconnects or I have trouble having the phone connected to the bike and to the app and the TFT working. So that's got to improve somehow, some way. Our next recommendation is for this wonderful 2488cc motor, 3-cylinder that comes with the Rocket. It's gotten very high reviews. I'd like to see a few more horsepower though, believe it or not, and a bit more torque. We do load the bike up here for moto camping, etc. But maybe if they had a special R version, right, like with the Thruxton R, and just something like a Shelby version of this bike, might be a good idea. You know, you never know. I know the Black Edition was out recently, but it's still basically the same bike.
What?
Anything you can do to improve this engine, right? A few extra horsepower, a few more pounds of torque would be great. But if not that, looking at the fuel system on the bike as well, it does seem to get dirty and clog up with cheap fuel very quickly. So just whatever you can do to make an already great motor even better. Continue the improvement process with the motor. Whatever Triumph feels they could do incrementally to make a great motor even better for this motorcycle. Our next one here is the exhaust. Can Triumph find ways in the future to make the exhaust a little bit more aggressive in its tonality? The look doesn't need to change. You know, maybe there's something they can do to make it a tiny bit beefier. Right now, this bike is not an obnoxious bike. It's not very loud, and that's fine. I can live with that. But if there's an opportunity for Triumph in the future to maybe tweak the sound of the exhaust on this bike at a minimum, that would be great too. So right over my left shoulder there, passenger seating area, it's not very comfortable.
Oh man!
Well, you can see it right there. The rear passenger seat comfort on the Rocket 3 GT is not known for being very good. I say it's a challenge even on short trips. That's the feedback I've gotten. Obviously I'm using a tour bag back there as a backrest. It's been working great for me. I've always advocated that for solo riding, either Rocket's amazing. But in this case, if Triumph can put on its radar for 2022 and beyond to maybe make that a bit more comfortable for passengers, right? Or at least provide an option for it to be better and actually more comfortable for trips longer than 5 or 10 miles. Okay, so our next recommendation is around the Givi designed Triumph luggage panniers. They're not very good, they're very low quality, and we'll show you some immediate examples. As we've talked about in my other videos, have been reduced to using a TSA key to lock and unlock the bags. So let us show you here what's going on. Alright, well the first thing we got going on here is I can no longer tell you what my combination is to unlock the bags because these plastic tumblers, the gears, reset the combination on the bags unintendedly. So that's the biggest reason why I'm using a TSA key now to lock and unlock the bags. The next thing with the bags is that, of course, we obviously have a MacBook Pro. This MacBook Pro, you have to ram it in at all 4 corners. I'm curious when Givi or Triumph was designing these panniers, if they thought about people who might take their bike to work and bring a laptop with them. This fails miserably. Typically people have like a square piece of luggage or whatever, laptop, whatever. Leaves you just the open sides here to shove stuff in. If you put anything here in this zippered screen part, which seems like a nice feature, it takes up any space here. So as I've said before, these are too small, and I'm curious if the Bonneville metal adventure panniers could go here. I'd put them on my bike if I could. And I've got one more example to show everybody about the durability issues with this product. So I have not abused the bags at all. Right here, zipper jams up. Right there. So I can make it work, but I have had to live with this. I'd like to see Triumph come out with better panniers for the Rocket 3 GT and Rocket R. Guys, I'm here with the lovely Teresa. She's my boss and she's also Piper's boss, and today was her birthday, so want to wish her a happy birthday. Guys, wish her a happy birthday in comments. She's phenomenal and we love her a lot. Happy birthday, Teresa.
Thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed this episode on our wish list for 2022 with Triumph motorcycles and beyond for the Rocket R and Rocket 3 GT. This is coming off our direct experience with their product, right? And whether it's the poor design of the panniers or the durability issues with the panniers, TFT, hassles, key fob, hopefully Triumph can offer 2 key fobs on every bike purchase when somebody walks in and buys a Rocket motorcycle or any of their products. Buying a Goldwing, you get 2 key fobs now. It's just a good idea. And again, I still question why that key fob is so expensive.
What?
And as we alluded to earlier in the video, if we could get a little bit more power and torque out of the motor, I think that would be a good idea. And again, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Everybody keep burning down the road. We'll see everybody next episode on Down the Road. Salute.